Good evening.
Oh, it's me. Thank you.
I'm going to call this Board of Health meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Up next will be to accept the minutes of the May 15th meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the May 15th meeting. I want to turn to them first if I can find them. Are they there? They're there?
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Up next, number 3, Region 2, Emergency Preparedness. Nothing to report at this time. So moving on to number 4. We have 86 Klondike Road, a septic plan application for local upgrade approval with a room deed restriction. Hi.
Hi. Should I come up there or stay here or?
You can, that's, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay.
We're easy.
3 feet away is fine, Mark.
I'm Mark Thorpe, regional engineering, I'm the designer on the project. What we have is an existing camp or cottage on Klondike Road. Currently they have a well down by the water. It's a shallow well or a dug well, and they're having problems with it. And they'd like to upgrade that to a new well, as well as upgrade the system to be more compliant Title V. So it's a very small lot. The houses are in close proximity. So what I've done here is tried to maximize the distances. You can't fully comply with Title V because of the small lots and wells and septics there. So I've tried to maximize the distances to them. So basically we're asking for a list of variances. Do you want me to read through them or?
I think we all have them. Do you,
Is that
oh,
this?
do you not have them?
No, they're there.
Do.
Probably. I'll find it.
Okay.
Oh, here
Basically,
it is.
well to septic issues or setbacks. Title V is 100. Through the local upgrade approval process, they can go down to 50. So that's what they are. And then there's also a setback to a property line because that just allows me to push the leach field a little bit farther from things. So I encroached upon one of the abutters. I don't know, are you people abutters or?
She's at 100 Klondike Road, that's Stella Rucat.
What would be the name?
Stella Rucat, R-O-U-K-E-T, at 100.
Is she a direct abutter or
Yes,
which house?
the white one. The white one just before.
So if you're facing this property
To the left.
Okay, I think I met somebody out there.
That's, well, she's the owner. Mitchell Rucat is deceased. He was under Mitchell and Stella Rucat.
Excuse me?
I said it was under Mitchell and Stella Rucat.
Okay.
Yeah, and but.
Yeah, it's
Mitchell
right
is
here, Mark.
deceased, so she's the surviving.
The name, Ms. Rucat's name is right here, now informally.
Okay.
It's the left side.
So their local upgrades that are impacting these people would be, instead of being 10 feet from the property line, the proposed leach field's 5 feet. So it's still on their land, but it's just a little closer to the property line. Again, that was so we could push it up as high, close to the road as we could get it, so we didn't, minimize or maximize the distance to the other wells.
Her concern is she has an artesian well.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
We're gonna have the board members ask, and then we'll have you, definitely. I just wanna ask a few questions from us. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Could you just point on there where the well is going?
Well, the proposed well would be here.
On the other side of the house, okay.
Yeah, and that's as far as you can get it because it just drops off here down the water. So this whole portion of the lot is inaccessible to well drilling equipment.
And the reason it's, you're moving the leach field closer to the property line is because?
Well, it keeps it further from this well, this neighbor's well.
The other neighbor's
I
well.
think the 10 feet that I encroach upon this well.
Okay.
So we're trying to vary the least degree possible in Title V, and generally we try to it's better to approach on a property line before you go on somebody's well.
How far is it from the well that these folks own?
These people's well, it's over 100 feet to their well. Your well's down by the water.
No. She had an artesian well put in,
Where?
about 20 years ago.
I'm going to ask if you could just come up and identify yourself and have a seat up there to speak into the microphone, please.
Do we have a map of that?
To the microphone.
Is your son an electrician?
No, it was a cousin. He was a
Cousin?
cousin of my father's, Carol.
Okay.
Carol Ruca.
I saw somebody out there when I was there.
Oh, no, there was no electrician in the family.
Okay, so,
Give me the microphone.
Try to see if Mrs. Ruca can point out.
My well is in the, like from the road, Klondike Road. It's in the right-hand corner.
okay, so,
It's not where it's set on the map. It used to be a hand-driven well in front of the house, you know.
Okay.
But this one here is, this artesian well is up in the right-hand corner of the property, facing Klondike
Ask
Road.
if she can point it out.
could you point it out on the map there as to the location of your well, please?
I have a hard time seeing, I have a problem seeing. This is the house.
Here, this is Klondike Road here. This is your house, this area is paved. Shed up in here somewhere.
No, no shed. She doesn't have a shed. They have a shed next door. But yeah, there's no shed. There's no shed. This is your house. So where is the well you mentioned your house? And where's Klondike Road? Right here. Klondike Road is
Klondike
here.
Road, right up here.
This is your house. This is my house. It would be right here. Right over here, I'm 20 feet from the property line.
Is it buried? Is the well buried? Is it got a,
It's an artesian
it's sticking up out of the ground?
Yes, it's sticking up. I have a little windmill on it.
Well, unless I messed up on the abutters, are you, this cottage is next to you?
Lisa, can you go pull 100? 100 Klondike.
Cottage here hasn't been
Please.
really occupied in a while.
This 20 years, we should have it, right?
We should.
I'm not sure, but this, I mean, she would be number 100. This is her. That's her property. Rucat is her name. So that is her.
Well, let me,
We're gonna pull her file and see if, we're gonna pull Mrs.
My well, on your map.
well, when I went out there, this whole front, is your whole front
That
between
goes the-
Klondike Road and your house paved?
No.
Well, we might have the wrong abutter, because this one's paved. And when I went out there, I met a gentleman who was over there, said it was his house. And him and I went down to the water and dug up that well down below, and he said that's where his well was.
And Mrs. Ruca, you live at 100?
I think you should come up to take a look and I'll show you where it is.
It's,
I mean, I can't tell by this.
we'll
map,
pull
but
the,
I
see what the, got on
Yeah.
file first,
have a hard time seeing.
for starters.
Right.
And Mark, if he wants to.
You know what I can do is
Reconsider.
I'll go up there and just meet her, because I don't wanna, I just wanna get the thing straightened out, so it's either.
Oh, absolutely.
Her wells, we got a problem
If
with
the
my
well-
plan,
Yeah, if-
or we didn't notify the correct abutter, somehow we got the wrong abutter. So what
It is one.
we did notify, but I'm not sure if you're the right person, because I did not see any well.
What I understand, people that wanna dig this well, their well was down on somebody else's property.
do you live next door to
Down by the water?
this Glenn Johnson?
Is this where
She
their
doesn't
well is?
know.
By the water?
She doesn't know the name. It's
This is
changed hands
turned around,
in the
isn't it?
past couple of
I don't know
years,
what their name
and she
is.
never met.
I might have gotten the wrong abutter, so let me,
You can come down.
We're looking to see what we have there first, and
What does this say right there?
I remember
It says septic.
Mrs. Rucat lived up on,
Say right there.
I'm really interested in
Tom, the abutters list is
yeah, no, we
in the
want to.
folder.
I did some work for her a long time ago, up on Marsh Road. She had the farm up on Marsh Road. Right,
Right, that's where she came from.
I know. I remember
well.
doing perk testing up there, pulling carrots out of her
It's a
garden,
plot
eating
map.
carrots while we're doing all the perk testing.
Envelope that Tom has in front of him.
You
With
used
all
to
the
go up to the
plots
Antos
Tom.
farm?
and abutters.
I haven't seen it
You have an
lately.
envelope with plot map. In that envelope, there's a plot map.
Used to what?
Maybe Tom can make sense of that.
It's attached to the abutters list in the folder.
Another, a thief. Look, this
Oh,
terrace
yeah,
and it
okay.
looks kind of very sweet in the ground.
This is what we have for her house.
It's a very high quality sketch.
This is,
So, Liz, it's attached to the abutters list?
There was,
That's her property?
well, we're showing, this is, I think, is your client's property. Johnson. Yeah. This one is your client. Lot number 13.
Yeah, 'cause there's a well right there,
Right.
concrete cover, it's on the,
Right. Right on the property line.
yeah.
Well, I think if you want to, you probably should go back and,
Yeah. I think what, I
Reconfirm.
think what it is she's probably the next one down, and somehow we pulled up her name as in a butter. So if that's the case,
86 and 100 being right next to each other, is 86 right next to you? Did you verify that? I mean, they might have
there
sent it
was no,
out to
there was
the
no
wrong.
well, we looked.
The
we looked.
numbers on that street are not right. They're so crazy, it isn't even funny. They don't make sense. They don't go in rotation. This one's 87, that one's 95, I'm 100, and 85, and 87
I've seen
is next
odd
to
number and
me.
even number on the same side of the street down there too. So. One of the sites is like that, I remember that. Is, let's see,
We never had a number on our house. They told us it was 100, so that's what we put on the house.
are you familiar with the name
On
Brits?
that road.
Brits?
Bricks, do you remember?
B-R-Y-T-Z?
B-R-Y-T-Z, do you remember that name, Brits?
Ritz. I think Ritz was the Ritz. If I'm not mistaken, that was the one that owned that property before. Brits. I don't know.
Right, well,
I have no idea. I stay in my own little house and I don't bother nobody.
suppose we gotta
I
make
don't
sure
want
we
them
notify the
bothering
right
me and I
people
don't bother
first.
nobody.
You wanna, withdraw it right now?
Yeah, and then what we'll do is just,
We'll reconfirm what has to be done,
yeah,
and
I'll go back out there and just make sure that her well is not an issue here.
yeah, I didn't wanna find out,
That, or I'll make sure that this other guy is will get proper notification. So I spoke with him when I was out there, so that's what I think it's just the wrong, for whatever, I got my information off of the GIS site, so there might be potentially a wrong, a butter name on that, so, but I'll get it resolved. So I think what we'll do is just withdraw the application, and I'll get this, I'll go back
Continue
out
it.
and get this corrected. I'll resubmit to Tom.
actually, what you do is leave it open and
Right.
get a continuance.
Well,
That way you don't have to re-advertise it.
Okay, but I might have to notify
No,
another,
modify another,
notify in a butter by
Sure.
certified mail.
that's the easiest way to do it.
When's your
basically,
next meeting?
Tuesday,
March
July,
31st.
so should we make a motion to continue that?
We need a motion to continue. I'll make a motion to continue 86 Klondike Road variance till next month.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to continue 86 Klondike Road until Tuesday, July 17th at 6:30. Any other,
17?
yes. Any other discussion?
No.
No. All in favor? Aye.
At what time?
6:30.
6:30, Mark.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, we'll get it straightened out. Thank you so much.
Are you home during the day? Can I come and knock on your door?
You can come and knock on my door.
Okay.
He's home all the time.
So I might try to come by tomorrow and just take a look at it.
We'll get it all straightened out, no problem.
Just figured I'd let you know so you don't have this strange
Thank
guy
you.
knocking on your.
He'll bring the coffee, you just have the cookies ready.
As long as he's young and good looking, I don't mind.
That's my son.
It's over here. We'll get it after. Thank you.
I don't wanna scare him.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so up next, we have 19 Camelot Circle deed restriction prior to building an in-law apartment addition. Hi. Sure, you can come forward and just identify yourself and,
I'm Elise Carley,
hi.
and I'm looking for a bedroom count deed restriction.
So Tom, we'll have you give the lowdown.
Okay, what we have is a situation at 19 Camelot Circle where the applicant is looking to prepare to put an addition on the house, or possibly an in-law apartment? Okay. And by Title V, and they have what's called de facto zoning, because there's a well and a septic system on the same property, they're restricted to 10,000 square feet per bedroom. There's already a pre-existing four-bedroom house on the property with a properly designed septic system. So for the applicant to put on an addition, they would have to upgrade their septic system to accommodate the addition or the number of bedrooms, the added number of bedrooms. There are a couple of ways around it. One of them would be to relabel all the rooms so that it shows no more than the 4 bedrooms. But in this particular case, it doesn't work because there's also another formula that Title V uses, and it takes the total number of rooms, excluding bathrooms, the total number of rooms divided by 2 and rounds down to the nearest whole number. And that's what you have to design septic systems on. In this particular case, the applicant has an 8-room house, and they've already got 4 bedrooms marked off, and they're looking to put an addition on to a 2 or 3 room addition for an in-law apartment or an accessory apartment. So that would bump them up into the formula with an 11-room house, which would mean a 5-bedroom septic system, which legally they can't put on the property because they don't have the space. They don't have the land mass to accommodate it. They'd have to have at least 50,000 square feet. So, the way to deal with this is the applicants agreed that they really only need a total of 4 bedrooms. And what they were willing to do is put a deed restriction on the house so that the house can never be used for anything more than a 4-bedroom structure until either community sewer goes by or the law changes or whatever. But in this particular case, it's as long as the applicant is willing to record it on a deed. The only way it can be removed off of the deed now is with the Board of Health's approval. They can't just go in and just dissolve it from the deed. Only the Board of Health can dissolve it.
And so anytime that this property is, if it's ever
If
sold,
it's sold,
this
there's a
deed
deed
restriction
restriction.
goes with it.
And what it's doing is making the buyer aware that there's only a 4-bedroom septic system, and we realize that there are no bedroom police. We don't have anybody going in and counting number of people and number of bedrooms. But the understanding is that if you overwork your septic system and cause failure, well, it's nobody's fault but the occupants, because they already know, or they're supposed to know, and they're responsible for reading their deeds when there's a deed restriction. It's like anything else with an electric easement or a telephone easement or whatever type of an easement that goes with the property. It goes with the property forever.
Before allowing an addition on there, would we require a Title V so that we know that the existing septic system is functional, like a transfer of,
It's more important, yeah, we don't necessarily have a Title V inspection. It's not a bad idea for them to have an inspection, but we don't make it a prerequisite. One of the things that we do require is if, for some reason, we don't have an as-built on file. In this particular case, I believe we do have an as-built on file, but if we didn't have an as-built on file, we would make them do what's called a Title V location examination, so that their engineer and surveyor would be able to identify exactly where the septic system is, so they don't encroach on it with the addition, that's all.
these houses are around 20 years old on Camelot Circle, correct?
Yeah, these are,
I do have a Title V inspection that was done in May in 2017.
Okay. Thank you.
I have the as-built right here. Actually, the as-built was from 1990. It's a pre-existing.
She has Title V from 17, so that's adequate to know that, at least know that it's working properly before
Right.
you add, add people to the house.
And there's a copy of the as-built that shows the location of all the components, the trenches, the septic tank, and all in relation to the house now. So that when the surveyor or the site plan gets drawn up for the addition, they have this available to them to let them know exactly where everything is. So what they have is, they've presented us, the Board of Health, with a copy, let's get this cleaned up. A copy of the deed restriction. And there's a copy, and what this is a standard format that's available in Title V. It's a boilerplate, so they've completed it. They'd be looking for the Board of Health to sign it off, and then they would take it to the Registry of Deeds and properly record it.
Did you see this? There's a copy in this.
Oh, the copy everybody's
Yeah,
got
there's a
one?
roll
Okay,
I believe you have your original.
Yes, I
correct?
do.
Yes.
okay. So what you'll need to do is you have to actually take the originals to the,
Well, Phil O'Connell did it, so I trust it, because he's
Yeah.
pretty on the ball.
well, like I say, it's also a standard format.
Yeah,
It's
but-
right in the appendix for Title V,
Yeah.
so. And
So we would entertain a motion.
so you,
I understand that.
whether you're going to accept the deed restriction or not, and okay the deed restriction.
How do we want to word this?
And if you do, then you vote on it
What do you think?
and then sign it off.
I make a motion, is it a motion?
Yes.
Are we
To
good?
approve the deed restriction on 19 Camelot Circle for the 4-bedroom max to be recorded in the Registry of Deeds.
Okay, I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Okay, so any discussion on it? So do you understand?
Yeah.
One of the things you may want to do to amend your motion is that no certificate of compliance, when the construction is done, no certificate of compliance will be signed off until we receive a copy of the properly recorded deed or deed restriction. Okay?
Do you want to amend your motion to that?
So I'll amend my motion to include, I'm sorry, I need that wording again of what you're saying.
That the certificate of compliance will not be signed off for the occupancy.
Is the certificate of compliance coming from the building department or the Board
Yes,
of
but it's
Health?
co-signed by the Board of
Right.
Health as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So I.
Board of Health won't sign it off without a copy of,
I amend my motion to include that the occupancy permit will not be signed off until the deed restriction is recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
and the Board of Health has provided a copy.
And the Board of Health has provided a copy.
Second that too.
They have to sign it, correct? It would be in the packet.
And you have to
Gotcha.
sign it.
Yes.
All set?
So the motion was amended and seconded.
I'll have to read that in the minutes before I approve them next month.
Good. You got another one coming
Sure we
next month.
understood.
Okay, any other discussion regarding that? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously.
I have an in-law also. You sure you know what you're doing?
I think so. I mean, they're in the house now, so this is my way of.
You're not the only one.
Do you guys need to sign, does someone need to sign her original?
So you'll have to sign your,
Yes. I'm gonna borrow your black pen, because I have a purple pen. Thank you very much.
Thanks, good luck.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you. I know we both have that great
Yep.
living situation. Okay, number 6.
Sorry, guys.
Contract renewals and appointments. Up first is the contract renewal for Purcell Associates as the health inspector.
That's an original for signatures.
Is it the same one as before? Is there a raise in there?
There is
Are
a
we
raise
budgeted
in
for a
there.
raise?
Yes.
Is it a percentage?
It was an amount.
I think we finally backed Ted to where we were 10 years ago.
Yes. His hours have not changed, they're still the same.
You're lucky that you're back to where you were 10 years ago. Just saying, just kidding.
Yeah, no, really. They cut
Okay.
me like almost 30%.
Is the clause in here where he's gonna buy a laptop and that system to?
No, that was old.
Oh,
That-
yeah,
That
he was a
came
little
after
scared
the
about
budget's
that.
already been approved, so we need to make a motion.
Make a motion to, has this already been reviewed?
No, you want to review it? Review it.
Is it the same as it was?
I
Other than
believe,
an amount?
yes,
Just the amount.
the amount has changed.
6 weeks of vacation more have been added?
Yep,
Okay.
but he has to take us to Florida next time.
I
I'll
gotta
make
buy-
a
I
motion
gotta buy
to
round-
accept the agreement
I gotta
between
buy-
the
I
Health
gotta buy round
Agent
trip tickets to
Services and
Florida.
Purcell Associates.
Second that.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor?
I'm
Aye.
sorry, I said that wrong before. I said I make a motion to accept the agreement between Purcell Associates and the Dudley Board of Health is what I meant to say. Did you write it that way? Okay.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
motion and a
Just said it
second.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Jeez.
Are you, that's my red one.
Oh,
What's the date?
So I'll give you back
I
the
thought it
red.
was just fake red. 19.
I have red and purple, I mean. It's all official. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tom, nice to have you again for another year.
Thank you. I was sweating.
So excited.
Yes, he's gonna
Oh,
sign it.
yeah.
You were sweating, you were nervous?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I'll
nervous.
I'll give you back
Well, we
the,
put in a fake clause. You have to buy us
that's
Right.
right. Okay, so up next, we have the appointment of Mark Bartel as the burial agent for the town of Dudley.
Is there a contract on that as well?
We should have a letter from him. Something?
It's just a,
He does want to do it. That's just what we want to see. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So he's asking to be reappointed for the burial agent for 2018, 2019.
Sounds good. Ooh.
So you making a motion?
Hello. Okay, I make a motion to reappoint Mark Bartel as the, Bureau Agent for Tom Dudley
I second that.
of 2018, 2019.
I second that.
Perfect. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Up next, number 7, fee schedule review discussion. Okay.
Were we looking to change anything? Other than this, the application says it's $150 for the septic revision fees.
I have,
Right.
okay, I'm sorry. I have a list of
Okay.
edits that probably should be undertaken.
Okay.
Go for it.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, he has to.
At least you can question it as far as, we have a listing for cafes, which I don't think we have a need for. That's it's the same as a restaurant, cafe. If it's like a coffee shop that serves food, they're under the same design and operational standards as a restaurant, just on a smaller scale. But we also have, I don't think we have any bakeries in town.
We do
So
have
it's a
cafe.
non-issue. They'd still be considered a food product.
What is Sturbridge Coffee Roasters considered?
They have a full license.
We've been considering them as just the ordinary food service establishment, not a cafe.
Who's listed as a cafe?
Nichols College has
Oh, Jasmine's Cafe.
Jasmine's.
But it's just a coffee. Yeah, Nichols has Jasmine's.
They still pay the food service.
They pay the cafe.
They pay the cafe and they pay the food service?
No, they have several different locations.
But do they pay one overall for the whole
No.
place?
No.
They have 4 facilities. They have 1 retail, 1 full restaurant, and they have a quick serve fast food type of a restaurant, and then they have the, call it a cafe. But, I know in the past had been treating it as a separate food, they're all food services.
Right.
3 of them are food services and 1 of them is retail food.
There's 4 now.
Now the retail food is gone.
Have you gotten the,
The Davis Hall one used to be
they have, in Copper Beach, they have a little convenience store. One of the Copper Beaches. Either Copper Beach 1 or 2, there's
where's Copper Beach?
it's one of the apartments out front, past Lombard Dining Hall.
Yeah, they had a convenience store
Yeah.
there. Is it still there?
It's, as
Okay.
far as I know,
So
that's still there.
that's the retail store.
Then they have Jasmine's Cafe.
Jasmine's?
They have, the,
Wingery. Wow, Wingery.
God, I just lost it. They have 2 fast food places, Wow Cafe and another one now, a Mexican one.
I didn't know about the Mexican one.
Yep, that opened last year.
Where's
And
that?
it's right next to, Wow Cafe's here, and then the Mexican one's right there in, Fells, on the first floor.
Oh, really?
Yep. I can't think of a,
Because when I did the inspections there, I did the coffee shop.
yep, Jasmine's.
Wow.
Yep, right past Wow, there's another one now.
I don't know when they did that.
I can't think of the name of it. No, it's something Mexican.
Unless I looked at it as just an extension of
Wow.
of Wow. Because they're using the same facilities and everything,
Right.
just have a different checkout counter.
Yeah, so just FYI, take a look at
All right.
that.
Well, we'll look at it.
And Lombard, they're redoing right now anyways.
Yeah, Lombard, right. They got a big thing going right now, so. Food membership associations, we don't have anything like that. I just don't want to see, we can create a fee for everything, but all it is busy work. We should be streamlining wherever we can.
Because so it would go under food retail service, anything from 0 to 2,500 square feet would be that fee.
Right.
So we could do away with the cafe and a bakery because it's still the same thing.
Right. You could do away, I'm figuring we could do away with bakery, with cafe, with the food membership, with the retail food limited. I'm not sure what that really is. That's why I have a question mark on that. Food service retail temporary permit. I guess, do we have another area where there's temporary? I guess not, okay. Gas station, there's no such thing as just, we don't license gas station. We license the convenience store that goes along with the gas stations, but they still pay the convenience store price, like Arts, when they were selling water and, and snacks and tobacco. We were getting them for tobacco and snacks, so. There's no, again, no need for labeling or separating a gas station because it's retail food. So whatever the price, whatever it is for retail food, if,
Yeah. Okay. So the temporary one we would leave because that's like our, right, no, is that like our, when they do a craft fair or something?
yeah,
Those are those, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so,
Have we ever had a residential kitchen?
yes.
yes, we've had a couple of them, and
Yeah.
after one or two inspections, they don't want to bother anymore.
No, because they gotta get rid of their cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's two more.
Or they don't want to, they find out that I'm coming to do an inspection, and they don't want me to look in the refrigerator. Stuff like that, so,
Well, because they eat from the same refrigerator they're trying to,
they can.
they can.
Yeah, but it's gotta be neat, it's gotta have a thermometer in it, gotta have, it's a regular operation. We don't make them have a separate operation. As far as a regular or a separate soft serve fee, there's really no need for that. There's an awful lot of costs to go along with that. We would include that, that's usually part of another operation, like a restaurant or a convenience store or something like that. They have to do their monthly checks with the testing lab, and they have a lot of work to do. As far as a separate licensing fee, I wouldn't consider that. Again, it becomes redundant after a while. It's the same name it's a different name for the same operation. Again, eliminate gas station. Mobile push cart, yeah, okay. Residential kitchen. Reinspection fee, if there's gonna be anything, that should be optional. If there's gonna be anything. Typically, there is no reinspection fee unless it's something we have to go back continuously. Then that's why I say make it optional on that. Late application fees, well, we don't, try not to, it usually doesn't get out of hand with late application fees. Because we have a policy that, if you're late, you're not open. Simple as that. Come the end of the registration year, usually the last week of December, we get the heads up from Teresa about who hasn't renewed yet. And we go out and make a little site visit, get your paperwork in, or don't open tomorrow. Period. Simple. And it's been pretty successful the last few years. We haven't had any lates. I had one. But the guy managed to drive all the way up from the Cape to renew his license that next day. Tobacco permits, the same thing. As far as reinspection fee, late application fee, it falls into the same category. I don't think, we're not here to punish people, and it's something you might want to consider. Just eliminate the late fee. That's usually what my job is to go do the enforcement bit. Go out and get people to do the right thing. So we'll go out and just,
But if we ever need it, it's there.
well, you can, if you want to do that.
I mean,
you can-
it doesn't hurt us to have it on the
well,
list.
if you want to do
It
that,
doesn't mean
that's-
we're using it, it's just there,
it's a tool.
and it's a tool. If we need to pull it out of our hat, we have it.
Yep. Well, again, your other enforcement way is to issue an order to close.
And I want to be good cop, bad cop sometimes, and I, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go.
Roberta wants in on that, too.
We know she's gonna be bad cop.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, Ted.
It's fine.
Percolation test, reinspection fee. There's no such thing as a reinspection fee on a percolation test. It either passes or it doesn't.
Yeah. It's like-
Yeah, that's
Application for disposal permit is $380. Revision fee, I suppose you can keep that $50 one there, but that's not for all revisions. That would be if somebody wants to voluntarily change a plan or something like that, but if it's something that I kick back because it needs to be revised,
Right, that's not,
those are not considered, those are not something that, usually what most communities do is the application for disposal and construction permit includes the primary application and one revision if needed. And if you want to incorporate that in there instead of, and then have the revision fee is a separate item for a voluntary revision. You can have that. I would suggest you do that.
Which amount is accurate, though? The $50 that's listed on the website or the $150 that's listed on the application for the revision fee? It's,
See, the application fee for the permit, that includes all the inspections. And that includes my reviewing the plan, any documentation that needs to be done, any public hearings, local upgrade approvals, and the required 3 inspections. That's why it's $380. If I kick it back for any revisions or anything like that, it's usually, like I said, it's the application plus 1 revision if needed. I guess Teresa said there's a conflict. The list says $50, but the application, on the application says $150 for a revision.
is it a revision application, or is it on the, which application is it on?
all of them.
Well, so what she's asking is,
So
do we revise the application for a revision, or do we revise our list? Which is gonna be correct? You get conflicting
Okay.
charges.
Okay, so we'll keep going and then make a motion on everything and then go back and discuss this. Okay.
As far as reinspection fees, that should be kept as optional. If we're having a problem, the agent should be able to say, you gotta send in another check for, if I have to go out multiple times to do the same inspection, that could be optional. As far as, let's skip over the septic hauler. For now. The well permit, $100 is fine. The reinspection fee, I don't know why there's a reinspection fee for a well. I wouldn't, I'd probably just eliminate the reinspection fee. I don't think I've ever re-inspected a, I take that back, we had one. But usually what we do is we throw that back on the onus of responsibility is the engineer that we had up on Perryville.
Right.
Up in that area. But again, that becomes the engineer's responsibility and not ours. Let's see, where are we? The swimming pool permit. First of all, if you have a swimming pool permit, that's for, is that for home-owned swimming pools, or
Yes.
for me to review their
Yes.
plan for
If they have a
whether
septic
it's an
system.
in-ground or an above-ground pool?
Right.
Okay. Well, $20, okay, I suppose that's enough. I wasn't sure. That's for the construction permit.
Yes.
So you might want to identify it that way as a swimming pool construction permit. And that's, $20 is fine, it's more than enough. And then the tanning permit, should be fine. The reinspection should be left as optional. And the late fee, I'd take that out. Again, knocking on the door does more for, than, going through the motions of having a list. Body art, when we get down to reinspection fee, again, all reinspection fees should, I'm recommending they be optional. Late fees, I think all the late fees should be eliminated from the list at this point. We don't have a problem with late fees. As far as housing is concerned, those are fine. I would, again, reinspection fee optional. And again, porta potties, reinspection fee optional.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make a motion so that we can then discuss. If the
You want
motion-
an opportunity to review,
It's up to you.
discuss?
Discuss it.
She's just gonna,
I don't think it hurts to have late fee on there. If people are looking at it, they realize that they need to have it in on time, and if they don't, they're gonna pay us a late fee, and,
So
you
then-
know, it's in a contract, whether you use it or you don't use it. I think that they should be warned that if they don't pay and they don't pay on time, they may be closed, but when they reopen, they're gonna pay us the fee as well, so they better just pay it on time.
Okay.
So I
So-
don't see why we should remove any late fees from anything.
Okay, so
To
let's
be
make a
honest.
motion so that we can, you can just make a vague motion such as, I'm making a motion to amend the fees
Do you
and
want me
then,
to make a motion?
Uh,
I'll make,
yes, please.
all right, I'll make a motion to,
and then we'll get
amend
more
the
specific.
fee, the Board of Health fees.
okay, second
I have
that.
a motion and a second, now let's get into discussion. Okay, so we can leave the late fees on, that's perfect.
We don't have to, I'm
No,
just
that's-
opening it up as a
Makes sense,
discussion.
though,
That's
because
fine. It's there if we need to use it.
If somebody blatantly abuses it, it's listed there, and we have the, I mean, we could say it anyway, but
Right.
is somebody gonna come back and say, well, you don't have it listed that there's a late fee?
No, that works, and then, we'll make the re-inspections optional.
I'm a landlord, I need late fees. I need to enforce them.
I understand.
I do think that the re-inspection should be optional and up to discretion of the health agent.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's abusing, then most definitely.
Is the term optional or up to the discretion of? Is that the same thing?
Does it have to be specific in there? Late fee optional, or per
Optional of-
discretion
Oh,
of?
yeah, they're saying, oh, well, I
advi-
can have them re-inspect, and it's my option whether I pay it or not.
True.
I don't know
No.
what that means.
Good point, you know how people are. Picky,
I'm gonna
picky.
spin that, so you're gonna come
Hey, come up with-
re-inspect?
no, no,
My
no.
option
I'm
is
trying
not
to
to
think.
pay you.
Yeah, no, I understand. You're
Um,
perfectly, you're right.
You're right,
How do we address it? How do we reword that to say not optional, but,
At the
Well,
discretion of the
currently,
health
it does
agent.
not say optional.
Assessed
At the,
What?
Assessed
At discretion of
at the discretion of
the health inspector.
the health inspector and his whims. How does he?
I know, how do you
TP.
make it sound
Or PO, the
as
health
needed?
inspector. Yeah.
Or do we just want to leave a reinspection fee?
Just leave the reinspection fee, and it's your option if you want to charge them or not. Maybe you're having a good day, maybe you're not having a good day, maybe they're giving you a hard time.
Maybe somebody's called you back 8 times.
And you're like, that's it.
I suppose I could. But I don't want to be accused of being arbitrary and capricious either,
No,
Correct.
but
because
Ye-
that's the danger you run into.
Right, it's an all or nothing
Right,
situation.
you know, if you start, if you start late feeing somebody or re-inspecting fees, some, certain people, they're gonna accuse you of biased.
But monies are due, right? Like if you don't
Not
pay your, if
necessarily.
you don't pay your bills on time, there's a late fee, so it's kind of the same thing, right?
Yes and no, not necessarily.
Aren't you owed your money?
Well, I'm talking about re-inspection fees. Late fees, I suppose, if
Late-
you wanna have late fees, that's fine. There are certain things that do not require and should not have late fees.
Well, then the
And that would be like septic installers licenses, because there's guys that have licenses and they don't have a job in town, they're not gonna pull a permit. They're not gonna pull
Right.
it. They're not gonna pull their license.
So then what about if we do the reinspection fee is at the discretion of Tom?
but then,
Because you're right, if he does go out 8 times, then that's
Right.
his time.
I agree. Is there a way to,
Nope, charge everybody.
well, I'm just trying to think like, you know, if, you know, if call back more than 2 times for the same problem,
Oh, again, now, just to go the next step, what we do and what we've done in the past is, for people that fail to comply, housing re-inspections and all that, or rubbish re-inspections, or anything like that, what we do is we use the non-criminal disposition. We write tickets. And we write tickets to the tune of $300 for tickets. That's the penalty. Now, we also use it as a tool. We've used it where now they can appeal the decision on the ticket. And we use it as, in one particular case, we had a situation where they didn't want to clean the yard up, they didn't have the money to clean it up. But they showed up to pay the ticket, $300. We told them, keep your $300, go get a dumpster for $300 and clean your yard up. That's all we want out of you. We're looking for compliance. We're not here to beat you up. We're not here to punish you. We're looking for compliance.
On another note, there's a dumpster at a particular property that we've been
Yes,
asking.
I was gonna report on that too.
Yeah.
It worked. Okay? It's full.
So we could do that.
About time.
So, again, we have the non, you know, as far as imposing late fees or repeat fees or anything like that, we have non-criminal disposition that we can write. And we're not afraid to write them, to use them as whatever we need them for. We've done it with a restaurant, we've done it with a couple of housing complaints. Some of them have paid, some of them have, we've worked a deal that we would waive it if they spent that money on cleaning the site up. Again, we're not here to punish, we're here to get compliance, and that's it. That's the way I look at it, but that's up to the board.
I agree with that.
so let's say you have a restaurant that fails inspection and he has to go back. Should they be charged an additional fee, or should it just be,
Well,
you're
naturally,
fixing the problem?
naturally, you have to go back once to re-inspect it, so there shouldn't be a fee on something like that.
Exactly,
But if you have to go back a third time,
exactly.
then.
Right, so how do we,
You can put re-inspection fee as optional. So we're back to the- Well, you see, what it does is it gives me it gives me a tool to work with to say, hey, look, you know, if I'm coming back here again for a third time, Now we're gonna start charging you fees, and every time I come in here to do an inspection, I'm gonna charge you a fee.
I'd prefer at the discretion of the health agent.
Yeah,
And you can tell them that.
yeah.
Late fee
We
at the
change that
discretion
wording?
of the
Yeah, we can
health
do that.
agent.
The late fee is not a problem. It's real easy to.
But not the late fee, I'm sorry,
The
the
inspection.
reinspection fee is
Inspection.
what I meant, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I say, the late fee is really not a problem, because if they open after the license, I give them a $300 ticket. And I give them an order to close. And if they if they ignore the order,
Where did the number 300 come from?
it was voted on by by your predecessors.
Okay, so these.
The
late-
$50 and $100 fine didn't faze a lot of people, so
Okay.
300 was more reasonable. And I think that's what they did, was they set my limit at 300. It's now, a lot of places, is up to 500. But we use that as the yardstick.
Okay, so the late application fee really is irrelevant because if they haven't done it and you go and inspect and they're running their business, $300.
$300, number one. Number two is I give them an order to close. And if they violate the order to close, we go to the next criminal. That's criminal at that point. So we go from non-criminal to criminal.
So are we removing late fees?
What do you guys think?
I think now that you put it that way.
Now that I understand it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll remove. I'm
And
just
it's
reading-
using the tools the best way you can.
Yeah, that's a better
Yeah.
tool.
Okay. What do we think about removing bakeries
Or if you want to leave it for,
and
there's always
cafe?
the,
We don't have any, but we don't have any body art places either.
No.
no.
So what if we do? Then would we come up with a fee?
Then we'd have to
Or
add a
permit.
fee for them, or
I'm not sure what the,
Right.
we have body art regs,
Yes.
we did.
and I think there's a fee
establish them.
structure in the regs.
Yep.
And if you do modify them on the list, you'd have to go back to the regs and modify the regs as well. Or just rely on what it says in the regs.
Well, if we had a cafe come into town, it would fall under food service for under 50 seats,
Right.
Same with
We
bakery.
have one here.
and which we already have on there.
Yeah.
In a bakery,
Does that say $600? Food retailer, what's?
over 10,000 square feet, yeah. So I think taking the cafe off is fine,
And the bakery.
and the bakery.
Yeah.
So we remove cafe and bakery. What about the food membership club association, since we,
We don't have anything like that. It's BJ's.
What, oh, I was gonna say, is that like a Sam's Club type thing?
BJ's, Sam's, yeah.
so
Oh, I thought that was like a farm share type thing.
take that
And-
off, that'd be great. And you said the food retail limited, we don't use,
Well, I.
you would
know,
need approval from us, from the Board of Health.
Right.
What would? I think keeping everything in the feets and the under,
I
square
suppose the
footage.
difference is like if, what they had at Arts versus what they have at Cumberland Farms. They're both gas station operations. One is a convenience store, the other one is just, soda, water, and crackers. But it's a convenience store. Small convenience store.
Which is listed where? Just in food retail?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's timed.
So.
so if you want to call it, either do one of two things, either call it limited retail or probably just eliminate the gas station bit.
That's what I was gonna ask. So like we have the gas station, which is $75,
Right.
but that's not like Cumberland Farms, is it?
That's
Because they have,
that's
they
a
go by.
convenience store, that's a retail, full
Right,
retail
okay.
store.
That's
That's the
what
way I look at, so I'd eliminate the confusion by get rid of gas station.
Okay. So leave the limited, food retail limited,
And leave it at $50, it should
Okay.
be enough.
and then we'll get rid of frozen desserts, ice cream, soft serve, and the gas station, because that's gonna go under the others. Does that sound?
Mhm.
Okay, and then we need to, talk about the,
So if somebody came into business and they're just going to do ice cream only, they're just food-
Retail food.
Retail food.
I'm sorry, that's a,
food service.
it's a food service,
Right, food service, yeah.
just like a bar room. Bar rooms are food services. They're serving ice, and they're serving,
So what, we have
Boo-boo
bar on
juice.
here for $100, but what is that? Do we have just a bar that's only paying $100?
yeah. P&A. Club Jigger.
But you just said that they're food because of the ice.
But they're called food. We don't have a regular bar license. We
So
have a
that-
limited, it's what's called a food license. They pay the retail food.
So we're not using
Or
line-
food service.
So we're not using line 2 that says bar,
No,
so we can eliminate
We
it.
can eliminate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we
Huh?
are. We are.
somebody changed it.
Who's paying from just the bar?
Since the day I've started, Club Jigger has,
Somebody changed it because they serve more than just,
P&A does.
they don't operate just as a bar. They have food and they have, so, again, it's a misconception by,
That's why if we,
21 was.
So are we gonna need to correct that in the coming year?
yeah, and it'll be, they're all food services. They're food establishments or they're retail food. One of the packaged food, all prepackaged food, or they have a food service. If they pour, if they have ice, and they serve it in a glass, that's a food service.
so we'll remove bar as well.
So I'd eliminate bar, cafe, because a cafe is a food service.
Okay, so then we have to go down to the septic, and so a septic revision fee,
Okay, so we said with the permit, they get septic revision in there, but you said voluntary septic revision is
Right, what
something
we
else.
use is, most towns, when they describe the application for disposal, or DSCP, they call it, with one revision. So if it gets kicked back, they don't get charged for it. If they get kicked back again, they're supposed to get charged for it, but depending on how serious it is. Or if the homeowner decides, like in one particular case, I just got done designing a system, and after the homeowner looked at it, he didn't like the
I don't
design.
want it there, I want it over there.
I don't want that type of system, I want another type of system,
Oh.
after I've already. And then if the town had reviewed it, that's the problem there. If the town had reviewed it, this isn't like making a modification and me re-looking at the same print. Now I'm looking at a whole new print
Starting
altogether.
over again, yeah.
So I guess the revision should be for,
and so on each application, it says $150 revision fee?
Correct. For the ADSCP, for the disposal system construction permit, it says $150 revision fee. On the website, it says $50 revision fee.
So those are two different things, no?
Can you just grab an application for us so we can
Sure.
see it? I just wanna,
If someone gets a septic plan and they've paid $300 for that, $380 for that permit, and they've submitted it, and you've reviewed it, and then they decide, oh, no, that's not what I want, and they go back to the drawing board and come back to you with another, that's a whole new permit? No?
Typically, yes and no. See, what happened is this fee, that application for the DSCP fee, it includes the plan review, application and plan review, any local upgrade approvals that accommodate that plan or accompany that plan, plus 3 field inspections. All the inspections are included in there as well. So if they go in and withdraw that application, you've got 3 inspections that they paid for that they're not getting.
That haven't happened yet.
Right. So if you recharge them the whole 380,
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't do that.
So we could
that's
state,
why I say 150, 50, 100, whatever number you want, that's fine.
we could, you could say septic revision fee when new plan submitted, for new plan
I
submitted.
mean, it looks like this.
Well, again, you don't want to get it confused with revision, because what I did with Mark, I sent, with that Klondike Road plan,
Right,
I sent these back. Well, these are revisions, but there are things that need to be done that he didn't include on there. So, and that's why I say, usually you get one shot at a freebie on a revision.
It's
Yeah.
on the checklist.
Versus he decides, well, he doesn't want to go with the 3-bedroom, he wants to go with a 4-bedroom design, and he comes in with a whole new plan. Well, that's another whole ballgame. And that would qualify as a revision, of where they would kick in the fee of
Right, those suggestions
$150
don't count, right
for me to
then.
relook at a new plan.
you can write on it.
So initially those are suggestions of what needs to be fixed.
Yeah, well, I tell them,
Yeah.
if it according to the law, this
You
is what
want this?
needs to be on the plan. It's not on the plan's rejected. So-
But this should even say one revision is included, all additional revisions are $50 each.
Fine.
That's good.
That's what that should say.
Yeah, what they do is, they put like, first revision, no charge.
First revision, no charge, any additional
Any filed,
$50 each.
any ensuing, whatever, $50, $100, whatever you want to do.
It seems like $100 is too much, because they're usually just little piddly things, right?
Right.
Any additional $50 each. Okay. So that sounds good for that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, so that when the motion has to have it all, so so.
It's a lot.
Can't make that motion. Okay,
Yes,
go
you
ahead.
can. Okay, so then, moving on, swimming pool permit, we want to change it to swimming pool construction
Construction.
permit.
Or you can call it swimming pool plan review.
Yeah, I like the sound of that better, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Plan review. Okay, so that,
What was it before, $7?
No, it's been 10.
It's been
20.
20?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's been
20.
20.
Okay. I remember, last I remember was when Rosalie was doing the $7.
How much, $7? That's a good one. $7.
It's $3.88 and we got a raise, so $3.12.
Okay, so if, I'm just gonna read through everything that we've clarified, and then you can amend your motion.
Am I gonna have to read my, should I just make the motion with the, read that out loud?
Do you know everything?
No,
Okay,
but I'll have to read it. Or can I just, to include?
to include, we can
Gotcha.
do that, right? Okay, so we're gonna update the fees, and we're removing bakery, bar, cafe, and food membership club associations, frozen desserts, ice cream, soft serve, gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the items that we are removing. We are then noting the reinspection fees are at the discretion of the health agent. we are changing the checklist for application system inspection to state that first revision is no charge, any additional revisions are $50 each. We are then changing the swimming pool permit to swimming pool plan review, leaving that at $20.
Are we removing all late fees?
Yep, thank you, that was my other. And we will be removing all late fees because Tom will handle enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
which will be better. Did I forget anything? Did I?
We got a couple of things that really need to
Okay.
be looked at also. The septic hauler permit
Yes.
before January 1st is 150 plus for the first truck and $50 for every truck after that. That's what it says.
Okay,
And then after January 1st, it's $200 plus $50 for every truck.
So that's a late fee.
So that's a late fee.
What do you suggest we do?
I'll strike the January.
Strike the bottom line?
Strike the
After.
before or after January and eliminate the surcharge.
Can I go back, grab an application, because I don't think that matches the application either.
Yeah. The reason for it, there are some people that, they do very little hauling in this community. So we'll say like Wind River comes in here, technically they're supposed to pull a permit from us. We can stop them and cite them. And whether they do, if they only do a couple of jobs in town, they're not gonna get, and they're gonna go in April, or they're gonna be penalized because they didn't renew it in January. It's like the septic installer, the same thing. He doesn't renew his permit in January, but he doesn't have any jobs, may not have any jobs at all.
right.
Impossible to police that, isn't it?
Hmm?
Kind of impossible to police that.
You're going by their honesty and,
I'm assuming the ones who do the majority of the business,
They're not a
the
problem.
Helgerson, the Stevens,
They're not a problem, and they, they wouldn't mind. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about here with, like Helgerson's. I think Bobby Mason's got one pump truck. Helgerson's got 4. And he's being penalized because he's got 4 trucks. When there was, some of the towns were charging him the full license fee for each truck. I think in this particular case, we're only looking at $50 for the second and subsequent trucks, well, after the first truck. And that's what my other was to get down when we get to the rubbish hauler. Here we are, Pratt running around with 17 trucks around town, and LaBeouf is running around with 6, and Al's is coming in, and he's only got 1 or 2.
okay, so could we do something to the effect of like, I'll just start with the septic hauler. So
Do we want to, can I suggest that we just do an audit of other communities and see what they're doing? How they handle multiple companies and multiple trucks and...
Because I would think that something to the effect of, okay, so let's just say we do the $150 septic hauler fee. If you have 1 to 5 trucks, you pay $150. If you have 5 to 10 trucks, you pay $150 plus $50 for the next 5 to 10 trucks. I don't want to kill people, but I also think that, if the guy who's got 1 truck in town versus the guy who's got 15 coming through, there should be somewhat of a difference.
What we used to do in other communities, and there's still a lot of communities do it. They sticker each truck. We were doing it in Webster, we were doing it in Oxford, they do it in Auburn, Worcester, Millbury. First of all, if they were driving around without a sticker on the truck, and then we used to sticker all the trucks for $50 a truck. One truck. And we inspect every truck, and every truck got a sticker. And you paid for, and those are the only trucks that are allowed in this community, are those stickered trucks. If they're going to, for some reason, because of an equipment breakdown, they're supposed to call the Board of Health and say, truck so-and-so is not gonna be here this week, it's gonna be, truck 49 instead of truck 17. And we make a note, so that if we decide to go out do an enforcement, because it's kinda tough to get them to stop. Throwing yourself out in front of a trash truck is a little risky. But, communities do it. And I know I've been lax on that. There's a lot of revenues to be had. I don't know who's been paying and how much they've been paying, but
So we need to look at the solid waste rubbish fee of only $300 and look at it in a different way.
I think we'd look at it in a little different light, instead of paying a flat fee. Again, the guy that comes in with 2 trucks versus the guy that's got 17, and they're paying the same fee,
That's not
I don't
fair.
think it's
No.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll take a look at what other communities are doing. I think some good examples are Auburn and Millbury, and I think Oxford as well. I'm not sure what they're doing in Webster. I don't know that they've been that keen on doing truck inspections and stickering trucks. And if you're not gonna do the enforcement, then you might as well not charge at all. But the state law says that you can. So that would be the next thing. Are we gonna do the enforcement?
What would the enforcement involve?
Stopping the truck,
I'm just, I mean,
and writing them tickets for every truck that, follow a truck around and make sure that they have a Town of Dudley sticker on the truck, and if they don't, you get a ticket.
Yeah, and one company comes out on Monday, another one comes out on Tuesday, some come out
Oh
on
my
Thursday.
Kind of a
Yeah.
full-time, it's kind of a full-time job, tracking them all over the town.
right,
But
we can do that,
I'm not doing that.
there's revenues,
Time coming up.
right.
there's revenues that aren't being collected.
I'd like to have it ready, like, for July 1st, because it's the new fiscal year, we're implementing new.
We're not gonna be able to do these until we have an audit, is that correct? Until we decide.
Well, you can always amend them,
Right. We at least get something in place, then we
Oh,
can.
boy. I'm
Well,
tired, I'm sorry.
put the rest of them in, and then we'll leave the solid waste trucks.
So we'll leave
Leave
the
the
rubbish
septic
haulers
hauler
alone.
truck is fine, $200 for the company or whatever you wanna do, and then $50 for every truck after that.
So are we
That's on
raising it,
that on-
are we
that's not a
raising
re-
it then?
What, the septic hauler?
Yes.
Well, whatever your fee structure that you wanna
Because
have.
it looks like it's 150 unless
150.
they're late.
Yeah. 150 plus $50 a truck after the first
So we'll
truck.
eliminate the bottom line.
Right, we're gonna eliminate the bottom line. And it'll be $150. And that gives you one truck, and then each additional truck after that is $50.
Okay.
So, I mean, once you approve all of this, Teresa has to go back to all the paperwork and make sure that one of two things happens. Either the current pricing gets put on the current paperwork, or leave it blank. My suggestion, leave it blank. Because that way, if the prices get changed, you don't have to throw all your paperwork out.
That's what I've been trying to do as I update.
Just leave the fee and a blank and a line. It could be handwritten in there.
So where are we at?
So for the rubbish trucks at this point, couldn't we do a flat fee and then a fee for each additional truck at this point, and then decide if we want a sticker and ticket and go further.
You could
But
do
at
that
least
as
get
well.
something on the books so that as of July 1st, we start.
I'd like to know how many trucks these people are running before we, you know, lose some money. I mean, the idea is not to
It used to be,
lose money here at this table today.
Right, no, that's what
I
I
used
mean.
I used to go down and inspect Pratt's.
Yeah.
And I would go and do theirs right at their shop. I didn't have them come up to me. It used to be, we had a ritual of every rubbish truck had to come up to the town hall. Every septic hauler had to come up to the town hall. We had to inspect the trucks, to go through that, and it never fails. It's always in January that we're inspecting their trucks. You want to stand outside.
That's why I'd like to do this.
So what we used to do is I'd call Pratt and say, I'm coming down to do the inspections. So, okay, be here at 7 o'clock, we'll hold all the trucks until, and I'll go in and do all the inspection, I do 17 trucks in an hour. Because all you're looking for is to make sure that they're not leaking, they're watertight, their gaskets are in good repair, and they're not dripping oil. Basically, that's all you're looking for.
How many trucks do they run in this town on Tuesdays? I mean, they could run 2 trucks only and just,
Again, at that time, they probably did a lot. But now that with the market, the way that it's changed, between Casella and Waste Management and the rest of them, everybody kicking in, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a rubbish truck.
right, and they may only be coming out here one time a week, with
Right.
1 day a week with
Well,
2
again,
trucks
that's-
each.
right.
And,
1 or 2 trucks like.
right, because one's
again.
doing recycle, one's doing trash, and they're just hitting everything.
See, and then the other thing we also miss all the guys with the roll-offs. We used to make them so that they would have to have a sticker. If they delivered a roll-off, they could only send a roll-off truck out here, and that roll-off stick truck had to have a Town of Dudley sticker on it. But that became a little cumbersome, and then policing became the problem, so that's where enforcement disappeared. Because budgets got cut, staff got cut. We used to have, when we had a full-time staff, or close to full-time, it made all the difference in the world. Now it's, how much can you be expected to do?
And that's what I'm, how much do you,
And how many revenues are we how much revenue are we losing out on?
right.
I wouldn't be inclined to change that until we know what kind of trucks they're all running around, because how many different companies are in town?
Well,
I can
how many
tell you-
trucks does Pratt pay for? 7, 8?
Pratt, for trash
Yeah.
removal, it's a flat $300 fee. There is no per truck fee. So I have
Okay.
no idea how many trucks they have.
So each one of the companies is paying.
They're each paying the $300 fee. They're not
And
paying.
we give them a wide open berth for numbers of trucks.
Correct.
See, I
There's
would
no
like to
per
change that.
truck fee.
But we don't know that they're using 8 trucks in town.
No, but if we at least start charging the flat fee plus per truck,
What's the flat fee?
300.
$300
No.
plus.
300 plus trucks?
Yeah.
Or you could go back to
Oh, they're not
whatever.
gonna stop doing business in town.
Your septic hauler is 150,
Yeah.
so, and then plus $50 a truck beyond the first truck.
Right.
So
But
you
if
could
Pratt's
do,
only running 2 trucks and we go down charging 150 and then $50 for a
Each
second
truck,
truck,
so
and
that's-
they're only 200, we just
Right.
reduced it $100.
well, again, there are others that aren't paying the fee at all.
They're not?
Oh, yeah.
We haven't been chasing them.
No, well, we need to chase
I don't know,
them.
has Casella been paying?
No.
Waste Management pay?
Yes.
Al's Rubbish?
No.
Consolidated, is it, or something?
Consolidated.
Consolidated?
No.
Oh.
Dave's?
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Berkowitz? Tom Berkowitz?
No.
That's what I mean. We have a lot of, I know
there's an
there's
awful lot
like
of 'em
5
that
that go down my
Oh,
road in
well,
one day
They come in and
that,
out.
We need to
Yeah.
fix
I
that.
have 3 or 4 in my neighborhood.
so that's why, and
LaBeouf?
that's,
Yes.
Laterno?
Yes.
They all pay?
LaBeouf, at least LaBeouf.
Letourneau's my neighbor. Okay, so, like I said, that doesn't really matter.
Mr. Jerry.
So now we're only gonna be realigning the figure,
Right.
the fee structure to be consistent, whether it's awful material or whether it's rubbish. Whether it's septic or whether it's rubbish, it's making it,
All right, but we want all their trucks to have a sticker on them so that we can look.
but
I mean,
all of them should have a sticker,
I mean, I
including,
can sit out in my neighborhood and look at the 4 that come in my neighborhood
And see.
and see, you have a sticker, you don't have a sticker.
Right, and the thing is these are things that you can post it, like, these are the registered truck hauler, trash haulers we have in the town of Dudley. And they can be listed online,
well, they do it with septic systems, we do it
Right.
with them.
so.
Those are the only people you can do business with, the ones that are
Otherwise, you're
licensed.
changing, Yeah,
Right.
if they don't, right.
If they're
Otherwise-
licensed with the town, you can do business with them. If
Mhm.
you don't,
So,
who do you punish? The homeowner? Who do you punish, the hauler? You're gonna punish the hauler,
The
right?
hauler.
You're gonna punch the hauler, but
Most definitely.
the homeowner is gonna have to change companies.
Should.
so what do we wanna do for a fee?
Crazy.
We have a $300 flat fee right now.
I say 200 plus 50. I wouldn't do 300 plus 50, I think that's steep. Don't you?
I think that's excessive.
I
Is
think,
200 excessive?
No, 300
I-
is
300 would
excessive.
be excessive if you're asking for 50 a truck
Yeah.
after
Right.
the
Right.
first one.
so we'll do, I just
Is
lost my,
200 reasonable?
I think,
I think so.
I think so.
It's
like
big
I said,
business,
around 150 or 200, and
Let's
I would do it whatever consistency, so if you wanna do the septic hauler, I charge them the same thing,
So we'll increase septic haulers to 200,
to 200 plus $50 a truck after,
we'll do
All right,
both
all right,
same.
all right.
after the first truck or
200.
something like that.
And for trash trucks,
200 and
each
50.
truck will need a sticker, and we will get those.
We'll have to have stickers made up.
Yep.
Um,
What would this, how big would the sticker be? What would it say?
Town of Dudley, 2018 or 2019, or whatever it is. That's something simple. It doesn't have to be one of these fancy ones.
Nope, just a,
A big
It's gotta
D
be
with a,
metallic or something.
a
with
big D with on a white, a big green D with a white
okay,
background.
we'll work on that.
Something like that. We'll work on something.
Perfect.
Are those not colors?
I don't know.
Pardon?
Are those not colors?
Whatever, I don't know.
I like that. Actually.
So they're running the year January 1st to
January to,
December
right.
31st, so
And we
they
can,
need
we
to
can
be-
arrange the inspections.
the
What'll
year.
happen, the easiest way to do the inspections is I go to them instead of having them,
Mhm.
But they won't.
well, what it
They'll-
does is
they'll
it
come,
means
it's messy.
it's an all-day project.
Yeah.
That we have to stand around out there sitting in our car, and it's usually, and I don't know about when you go do your inspections, I certainly don't like the idea of sitting out there in December or January.
No.
Done it. That's not fun.
So can we change the date of,
Well, that would be the other thing, is to change the date of
I'd like to make
licensure.
these effective for July 1st. And we could change the licensing for July 1st, so that at least you're going in better weather.
The dates that they've
Yeah.
already paid for are through the year, they're the ones that are.
Yeah, they'll be credited for.
Yes. We'll roll that, There you go.
But it's gonna be 18, 19. Or,
Unless you want to do it and then make all the stickers for 2019.
Yes, they'll get
Instead
a,
of
like a,
doing it July 2019, it would be mandatory stickers and inspection
right.
and the new fees. We're gonna
Charge
give
them
them,
once a
give them a
year.
six,
We'll
give
charge
them
them
a
once-
6-month grace
charge
period.
them once a
from
month in
January to-
July,
to
but we'll-
July.
the sticker will be for the whole year, and then in the next year, the sticker will be for the
And we'll
following.
set if you want to, instead of July, if you want to make it April even, or May, earlier, but, what you're gonna do is give them a window of gratis in order to change your inspection cycle.
What do you think? I'm just going July because it's fiscal year.
That's fine. So if you want to make it July to July, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Just that way it'll be
So we'll give
fiscal
'em-
year.
The first half of July 2019 is free.
Right,
The new program will start July 1st.
right. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. Anything else that we need to,
Wow. It's a lot.
so, we have all of that, so if not, I will entertain a motion.
Do we need to relist everything, or are we good?
Do you have enough
Be
information,
specific.
Teresa?
Do you have it all?
I think I got everything.
Excuse me, you took, sorry, excuse me. You
Or
took
the
down
other
everything
thing
I
that-
said, so.
The other thing to do is have Teresa edit the list and present it for the next Board of Health
And
meeting.
then we can review it then.
Review it then.
And so, do we need a motion to
So you-
amend it, but we're going, not
Continue
gonna-
it.
Continue it.
Continue.
I'll make a motion to continue the, budget.
Discussion, right.
the-
Fee
the
discussion.
fee discussion till next month.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to continue this discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we'll continue it next month. Number 8, Health Inspector's Report.
Just to let you know, we have 2 sports camps coming into town this summer. As usual, up at Nichols, we're going to have the Red Auerbach basketball camp. That they finally completed their application process, and it's all been signed off. We also have there's a soccer camp coming up there to Nichols as well. The Red Auerbach basketball camp is an overnight camp. They've met all the requirements for the overnight camp criteria and application. And the UK Limited, is that the name of the? UK Limited is a soccer camp. That's a day camp. That changes a lot of the different programs, but the accommodations for Corey and Sori checks and all the health and information and everything else is all being part of the program. There's quite an extensive list that the state makes us have for all the day camps, what they call camps. As soon as they use the word camp, it invokes a whole inspection process and an application process. We have a situation on Center Road. We've ordered and we've had meetings with the homeowners or the principals about site cleanup, and it's well underway now. The dumpster is on site. The site is, I saw it yesterday. A lot of the site has been cleaned up. The dumpster is full. I'm hoping that the dumpster will disappear before the Strawberry Festival, Wednesday or Thursday. I'd like to see that, but I think at this point we've accomplished quite a bit to get the site cleaned up. At least we've got things started. This has been a 2-year process of everybody trying to get these things done. Let's see, was there anything else that of any great import? No, that's all I have on the, as far as the agent's report is concerned.
Okay, thank you. And up next, Clerk's Report.
We had, for the month of May, we had 2 food permits issued, 3 septic installers permits issued, 3 housing complaints and 1 nuisance complaint. The nuisance complaint was the beavers at Ardlock Place. 4 septic system permits were issued, 3 perk tests were done, 1 well installation, 1 pool review. The nail salons have been notified that their permits expire July 1st. We now only have 1 nail salon in town. We've not heard back from them for their renewal as of today. The office is closed for vacation July 16th through the 20th, and the next meeting is July 17th. And that's it, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tom, will you still be around that week? You'll still be around that week, or are you going?
Yes, that's August.
Okay,
That'll be August 6th through the 20th. I'll be out of state. I'll be out of country.
Well,
I'll be
where are we going? You're not
Alaska.
taking us? Oh, that's right.
I guess my ties.
Can you repeat those dates, Tom? The 6th through what?
August 6th through the 20th.
Thank you.
Okay.
But we'll have coverage.
Yes.
The usual coverage will be there, so.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Number 10, old business. Anyone have any old business?
No.
No? Nope.
No.
Okay. Number 11, any new business? Nothing. Nothing.
It's wonderful news.
At some point, you want to consider, should we do a little more research into that restaurant inspection program for
Yeah. Did,
OGIN?
were they supposed to be sending us some information?
They sent us some, they emailed us
Right.
some information on it. I haven't had a chance to review
No.
the grant packages. There are some grant programs that may qualify, we may be qualified for some of them.
Okay, yeah, definitely look
But,
into it and also, over the next few months and stuff, if you can just, you do up a list for me of things that, because you are on minimal hours, things that don't get done so that we can try to, next budget, work towards increasing and,
Yeah, well, this is one of the things is the trucks.
yes. And I
And-
just wanna be able to
And
go sit down and have a whole,
we managed to get a lot of stuff done.
yeah,
um,
there's no doubt.
But
There are other things.
there are things that are lacking,
There's just no time.
sometimes, right. Well, we can adjust some of, like I said, we'll go over some of the retail food establishments, and
Right,
yeah, it has to come before the Board of Health to reduce the frequency of inspection from twice a year down to once a year. We have to identify each one of them, like a package store or
Yeah.
Cumberland Farms or something like that, where they're selling all packaged food. Oftentimes, as long as they've been getting good inspection reports, the state allows you to, but the board has to identify them and then say that we can cut them down to once a year. The regular food service establishment is supposed to be done twice a year, so, or more often as needed, but
yeah, we'll work on that. And then our next meeting is Tuesday, July 17th at 6:30 PM. Everybody's good with that?
Mhm.
I saw you checking your
I was
calendar.
looking to
me
see,
too.
Okay,
don't
Good
think
night.
I'm- anything
excellent.
there.
I will not be here.
Yep.
Just a reminder to speak into the microphone.
make sure that we have a recorder. Oh, we have
Great,
Fred.
that's right. Seeing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Adjourned at 8:10 PM.